2CVparts.com Classic Citroën 2CV Racing Championship. They'll be on track in a few minutes' time for their second race of the weekend. But before that, our race interviewer Ewan caught up with some of the drivers earlier on in the paddock.
So here we are then, it is the 2CVs time. Exciting stuff on BARC TV, because we've not experienced much of these, Gary, but you're going to tell us all about them, because Gary's in last year's championship winning car and our pole sitter, so no pressure.
No pressure. Yep, if the car goes on to pole, it's the car. If it doesn't go on pole, it's me. So that's the challenge of it, but it's a great car and it gives you a lot of confidence to drive. Conditions are great. It's a nice sunny day. Yesterday was a bit rainy in testing, so it's just foot down, go as fast as you can.
Now, these are new to us a little bit, so tell us about the vehicle. And Adam, if you can get inside one of these, it would be absolutely... Can we get a door open? Let's have a look inside, because this is all fresh for a lot of our viewers. Lovely vehicles. One thing I've noticed looking down the paddock here, on several of the cars, there's multiple names on the windows. Can you explain the reason behind that?
Yep, so one of the big draws about 2CV racing is that each year we have a 24-hour race. At the moment it's held in Snetterton. So a lot of the names in the back doors are people that do the 24-hour race in that car.
Okay.
So if it's only got one name in, it's typically not a 24-hour car. But like this one, so I did it with Pete and Dave last year. So I've just taped them out so that people see him racing in a sprint race know which driver's in.
And who won the championship in this car last year?
So Pete won the championship last year in the car. He's lent me the car for the season because it's not racing. But if you look over your shoulder, he actually is racing in someone else's car because he can't stay away.
I mean, I get the sense this is a very family environment series, isn't it?
It is. It really is. So looking up and down here, if someone's got a problem, like I had a problem yesterday, I needed an airline to clean out the carburettor, and Nick Crispin, who's racing, lent me his compressor. So we all want everyone on the grid. We want everyone to do well, but obviously not as well as we do.
It is great to look down the line and see all these 2CVs. We cannot wait to see them going out there. Now, let's talk about your qualifying laps, because explain how the qualifying works, because there are two races, one today, one tomorrow. Yep. There was also two qualifying sessions. Yep. For some of those races, the drivers switch over. Yep. What's going on in 2CVs?
Okay, so in the championship, you can, to encourage more people to come in, you can either do the whole championship and every race on your own, yep, which is what I'm doing, or you can share the car. So and along here today, you've got some people who've got experienced drivers in and some novice drivers. So they're bringing new people in and getting them up to speed. So with Quali 1, Quali 2, for example, I did both, yep, because I'm doing both races. But if you've got someone sharing a car, then the first person who does Quali 1 has to do race 1.
Okay, yep.
And the person who does Quali 2 has to do race 2. But then the good thing is that they share each other's points for the championship. Fine. So there's no penalty. Like Luca and Sandro, father and son, are driving car 30, both equal in terms of talent, but it's father and son. But they're doing it together, yeah, and they share their championship points. So there's no penalty in having someone else in your car.
That is absolutely... Did you follow all of that? Did you get that, yeah? Now, let's talk about your qualifying. It was fantastic. It's cooled down now. The clouds come over and the track is cooling. Yeah. How was qualifying this morning, though?
Okay, so yesterday we had the car set up because it was a bit greasy and a bit damp and a bit cool. So we went out today and it was a bit more lively. Okay, the cars were skidding around a lot more. The guys were putting some rubber down, which did help. But so it was different. But a few early laps caught us out a little bit. But there was also people that weren't testing yesterday that arrived today. So there were some newbies out trying to pick up the track because we've not been here since 2014. So there was a bit of mix of that, but it evened itself out. I ran with my teammate Dave. So our strategy was to go around together. Because aerodynamics in these things is a little bit challenging, but two cars do run faster than one. So our tactic was, as people would expect, go out, run together, and see what happens. So I led to start with, and then Dave led to see which combination was the fastest.
So you are using each other's slipstream, yeah?
Correct, yeah. So I've got the drag, Dave's got the turbulence at the front. So together, it's probably worth a second a lap round here.
Wow.
Big difference. And then the two cars being so distinctive, people see them coming, they see the speed, and you get through traffic easier.
Gary, really appreciate your time. Thank you for your knowledge. Now we all know about 2CV racing. Let's go and see who else we can speak to down the paddock. Gary, best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
So Gary's told us all about the 2CVs, the ins and outs. Now we're here with Shirley Hennessy. Shirley, thank you for talking to us. First of all, welcome to Pembrey. Your first time here, I understand.
Absolutely, my first time here. but it's really lovely. Beautiful weather, beautiful surroundings, perfect.
And you've been racing some time, so tell us a bit about your history of racing and why we now find you with this very distinctive car. Let's talk about more on the car in a second, but your career as a racing driver so far.
Okay, my career of racing driver has been very limited, it has to be said. We're only on about race start, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that. But I've tried off and on over the last maybe decade to try and put a car together, scrape a budget together. It's never quite happened, but this season, hopefully, we'll do the full season.
Doing it for fun and love, what are your ambitions for the year this year? First year in 2CVs?
You know what, I'd just love to finish every race. That's what I'd love to do. Finish every race with a smile on my face. That's it.
Well, you're going to give plenty of people a smile with the car. You've called it, Adam, have a look at here. So the car's called Rhubarb. Tell us about the car.
Okay, Rhubarb. Rhubarb belongs to Maria, actually, and that's how I got into this. I met Maria at a racetrack, it was Anglesey, I think, many years ago. And she jumped out on me and said, "Do you have a race licence?" And I said, "Well, yes, I do, but don't use it very often." And she wanted to put together a girls' team for the 24. And that's how I came into this. I've done the 24 with them.
So you have raced 2CVs in the 24, but this is your first season of racing.
This is my first sprint season, so very different. It's all action.
Now, you're lining up today, 19th, 20th on the grid. You're going to have plenty of fun and action out there, aren't you?
Yeah, we certainly are. Hopefully we just have a couple of people to play with and we can have a good race, which is what we did at Cadwell. We had a little group of us, great fun, good laugh, overtaking back, bit of a battle. Great.
Absolutely. Shirley, best of luck. Thank you for talking to us. Look forward to speaking to you throughout today and the rest of the season as well.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Take care.
So here I am then with Nigel Hollis, who was possibly one of our most experienced 2CV drivers. You've been in this car, Nigel, for 20 years. This car for 20 years. How are you doing at Pembrey this weekend, sir?
Not too bad, considering my age, really, yeah. Yeah, it's going quite well. It's running a little bit lean. We can't work out why, but we've rejetted, so having another go this afternoon, see what it does.
Now, one thing we noticed on a lot of the 2CVs, plenty of names. Now, you've got two cars here with Hollis written all over it. The car 70 and the car 72, sister cars.
Yeah.
Talk us through the names on these.
I'm Nigel. My son Richard is Hollis. M. Hollis is Matthew. He's here today. He's racing. And the other one is Burton Shaw, is the other driver in a 24-hour race. So,
you and your son racing today, you and Matthew,
yes.
racing with each other or against each other?
Well, he's quicker than me, so I shan't see him. No, he'll be gone.
Now,
Yeah.
tell us a quick bit about your experience in 2CVs. How's it changed over the years, or is it as it was all those couple of decades ago?
Well, the main thing is to change carburettors.
Okay.
And we're now on actually a Land Rover carburettor, which gives a bit more power out of it. But the only thing with it, they are susceptible to dirt, so you do see quite a few people have to pull in because they got dirt in the car. But other than that, not a lot has changed really. No.
Now, there's not a lot in the car. Adam, have a look in the car. We've opened a door for him, our cameraman Adam. Now, talk us through a little bit. There's not much to talk about, of course, but just talk us through the vehicle.
No, we've had to go on to a bigger fire extinguisher system this season. Quite expensive, but other than that, you just got ignition, master switch. There's a AFR meter to try and get some idea of what's going on in the carburettor. Basically, that's it really. Original speedo. Goes to 70. We go over 70, so there's not much point having it really. Other than that, no, it's pretty basic. Very basic roll cage in the normal car.
And finally, what is it you love about 2CVs, spending all this time in them?
They're quirky to drive. You've got the gear lever, you flick over and flick round and push in and push out. So you've got to get that right. Don't change down in the wrong gear, else you'll spin the engine much too fast and you'll bend the valves. Other than that, it's just fun to drive, really. Yeah,
And
it's quite hairy.
what's your goals for the final race of the day?
I want to try and get in the top 10, but we'll see.
Unbeat Matthew.
Yeah. Oh no chance of that. Absolutely no chance. No, he's won quite a few races. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Nigel, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Right, let's go over to Dave Goddard for some 2CV racing.
Thanks, Ewan. Well, I cannot wait for this next race to get underway. Race 2 of the weekend for the 2CVparts.com Classic Citroën 2CV Championship. And the grid set by the second half of qualifying yesterday. It's the second driver in some of the cars. But on pole position is a man we just heard from, Gary Adnitz, at number 97 in the Team Lion car. Alongside number 96, the best ever qualifying effort by Chris Hall, driving for Pork Pie Racing. Pork pies. Second row of the grid, 79 David O'Keefe. He was the winner yesterday. Gary Adnitz unfortunately broke down at the start of the race. That's the second Team Lion car of David O'Keefe, alongside 89 Nick Crispin in the DD Motorsport car. Row 3 at number 92 Nick Rhodes, driving for Crisis at Tête Rouge. The Crisis and Tête Rouge teams effectively running that car together. Alongside him, number 24 Leon Davies for Team Gadget Racing. Failed to finish yesterday's race. Row 4, 2CV legend, with many titles to his name, 47 Pete Sparrow, not in the Team Lion car this year. He's in one of his own cars, a Sparrow Automotive car. And number 81 Simon Turner, alongside, driving for Tête Rouge Racing, Red Face Racing. Row 5, Matthew Hollis, we just heard from his dad. Matthew Hollis in the family number 72, alongside 99 Max Wire in the Fast Underpowered team car. That car was raced by Roy Eastwood yesterday. Row 6 is Katie Story, number 29. She's driving for Rosie Racing. I think it was her sister, Lauren, who raced that car yesterday, alongside number 40, Chris Yates, driving for Team Blueberry Muffins. Where do they get these names from? Row 7, number 80, that's driven by Nicholas Home, newcomer this year. Car was raced yesterday by Ainsley Bousfield, alongside number 33, Glenn Oswin. He's in the ECAS 2CV Parts team car. It's the purple and yellow car. Matthew Arrowsmith-Brown raced that car yesterday. Row 8, we have Mick Story, number 22, in the other Rosie Racing car, alongside Luca Proietti in the Bacon Racing car. Father Sandro drove that car yesterday, had some problems with it, so hopefully Luca is there. Row 9 is the man we've just heard from, Nigel Hollis, in the Hollis Motorsport number 70, alongside Shirley Hennessy in number 35, the car known as Rhubarb, run by a team called Blueberry Tarts. And the final 3 cars on the grid. Number 41 is driven by Sir Aubrey Brocklebank, and yes, that is his real name. Classic 41 Factory Racing, alongside Laurence Broadhurst. Good drive by George Broadhurst in that car yesterday to take 11th place. Andrew Bull is next, number 76. He had problems in qualifying yesterday. That's another of the Tête Rouge team cars. There are a couple more cars scheduled to be at the back of the grid. Julie Walford in number 55, the Steve Walford racing car. It was, I think it's her husband, Steve, who raced yesterday. And number 13, Seb Jones-White in the other Bacon racing car is at the back of the grid. We've got a bit of groundwork going on. That's the reason for a slight delay here. A hole has appeared at the side of the track, just out of Dibeni, that is. Presumably a truck has dug that up. So a few repairs needed. You don't want to hit a pothole on the side of the circuit at race speed, even in a 2CV. That will cause problems. Anybody waiting for a bus? They've been doing bus tours of the circuit, would you believe, during the lunch break here at Pembrey. Some old Bristol VR buses there. I think that's East Lancashire Coachworks bodywork they've got on them as well. Yes, I'm a bus fan as well. If it's got wheels and an engine, I'm there. Right to Caitlin Penny, who says, I don't like pork pies, I'm much more of a blueberry muffins fan. Kira Valentine Bull says, go Bully, presumably Andrew Bull, towards the back of the grid in the Tête Rouge with Propolis Process Solutions car. So nice saying that after a few drinks. I think Ewan is down in the pit area and is talking to one or two of the drivers while we have this slight delay.
Thank you very much, Dave. Well, we're not quite in the pits or in the paddock or in Park Fermé. We're actually just on the edge of the track here as we've got some repairs going on in the background, hence the delay. We're just waiting for the 2CVs. And I'm here with Martin, owner/patron of the Team Line. You've had a great...
2CV Team Line.
2CV Team Line. You've had a great start to the weekend. Let's have a chat about your experience and history of Team Line.
Well, I read Autosport from when I was in short trousers, and I used to go to Snetterton. I was a marshal there when I was at school, and then eventually I could afford to buy it every month, and things went on, and I'm in the picture frame trade, and a chap called Jem Marsh, who some oldies might know, he developed the Marcos cars. He said one day, why don't I do it? So I went through the bits, I did the ARDS test, and got all the kit, and we raced at Mondello, and it was all exciting, and after a few laps you realise it's a lot harder than it looks on the telly. And gradually I realised I was a better team manager than race driver, and 10, 15 years ago I paired up with Pete Sparrow, and we make a good partnership. He's a guy who he was in the first race at Mallory 32 years ago, I think.
Wow.
And it's worked out quite well. We've never had a bad word, and we've been quite successful. We've won the 24 hours 6 times, and numerous. It's very hard to win the 24-hour race. Very hard, and so it goes.
And why the passion for 2CVs?
No idea, really. I mean, a lot of 2CV people are really into it. They're owners. I wouldn't drive one on the motorway. It was just a convenient way to go into motorsport in the style that we could afford, and on the budget. And it's fun, People say it's only 85 miles an hour, but if you drove your car into a telegraph pole at 85 miles, you would know it.
Absolutely.
And it's very friendly. We know everyone in the paddock, uniquely in one makes. Everyone helps everyone else. There's parts, no one would refuse help. And if a guy has a big crash, they'll all pile in to help get it on. It's just a tradition of the club, and it's a bit of fun.
Fantastic. I think we can just hear the 2CVs in the background going round now. Now, just talk
what
us
some
about.
people call a dreadful whining noise.
I wouldn't dare say that. You're successful this weekend so far, Team Lion. What are your ambitions for today and the season as a
Well,
whole?
we were a bit mixed yesterday. One car lost its gears on 100 metres from the start. The other one won the race. So something between those, I suppose. It'd be nice to come 1-2. The guys are very keyed up. We would hope to finish, earn a good finish for both cars. But there's a lot of competition out there, and we're only marginally. There's no big gap. There's about 10 cars who are only a second or so faster than us.
And South Wales, beautiful sunshine. You can't beat this, can you?
Well, we haven't been to Pembrey for 8 years, and really the place is lovely and fresh. The weather's been kind to us, and I think the consensus is we would like to come back. We do love being on with the trucks, kind of little and large.
And a good crowd today as well.
It looks huge, yes. And of course, if they've got a big crowd, they can afford to improve the circuit, the usual thing. So yeah, it's great. And Phil Davies does a super job. He makes it all welcome, lovely preparation, super.
And the more exposure for 2CVs, the better, because we don't see much of the 2CVs in the past.
I think this is the first live transmission, apart from the coverage we've had for the 24-hour in the Citroën 24-hour from Snetterton every August. So watch more.
And we're all enjoying it as well. Martin, thank you so much for your time. We're about to go out to the racing now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now let's go back to Dave Goddard for some 2CV racing.
Thank you, Ewan. Nice to hear from Martin, the man behind Team Lion. His car's first and third on the grid for this one. Gary Adnitz, the championship leader coming into this round. He won both of the races at the opening weekend of the year at Cadwell Park. But unfortunately, his car was the one that broke its transmission at the start of yesterday's race. He didn't get away off the line. They probably had it repaired as soon as the car was back in the paddock. I mean, you can change an engine in one of these cars in about 15 minutes with enough hands on deck. And he starts alongside Chris Hall. Great to see the Pork Pie racing car on the front row for the first time, that blue machine. David O'Keefe, yesterday's winner on row 2 in the second of the Team Lion cars. And Nick Crispin in the bright red car completing the second row. Watch for Pete Sparrow. He's in the grey car with the Union flag on the roof. Runs a 2CV specialist garage in Herefordshire, and he's a multiple 2CV champion.
So he's looking for redemption today.
Is that bus joining the grid?
On pole position, a time of 1:23.
Now, I know we've got truck racing this weekend, but I'm not sure we're going to have a bus race.
Then you've got number 96, which is Chris Hall.
Where's he going?
So, Chris going well there in the 96.
Well, I've never seen this before.
Next row we have
There are passengers on that bus as well.
He was on pole yesterday and won the race yesterday from pole position. So David is there, long time.
Well, it's fair to say in motorsport that 2CVs and buses have never been seen on the same grid. Oh, there's the other one. We are going to have a bus race.
First ever 2CV race at Mallory Park in 1989. And he's been
I won't
racing
peddle the
on
obvious
there
joke about 2 buses turning up at once.
Since then, he's actually won the.
Have they got lost on the way back to the paddock or something?
6 times. So very accomplished.
Passengers on the top deck are enjoying it.
We've then got 89 Nick Crispin on the second row. He had a
Just waiting to see what these buses are doing. He's heading into the pit lane, I think.
orange and black car.
Well, I've never seen that before.
Rhodes in number 92. That's the green and blue machine.
I think he's missed the pit lane entrance.
Yesterday.
The bus driver's missed the pit lane entrance. Look.
Davies.
Oh my goodness.
24. He was
We mentioned about race licence test. Here's your bus licence test. How to do a 3-point turn in a double decker.
which explain him right now. And then the man you've got to watch for, number 47, is Pete Sparrow.
The bus has missed the pit lane entrance and he nearly ended up joining the green flag lap for the 2CVs. That is absolutely extraordinary.
Team, which is 97 and 79, but he's taken this car on to see if he can develop it.
Right, well, Bristol VR bus.
Won the race. He got fastest lap, he came second. He's a
Bound for Tenby, according to the destination blind, along the Welsh coast.
countless times, and he really is the danger man.
Now he's got to do a 180-degree left. He's going to have to do another 3-point turn here if he's not careful.
Turner on that easy one. And then the next one is
Superbly done.
Hollis in 72,
Well done, South Wales Transport.
in 99. The next row we get Katie Story in 29, and she's part of the commentary team.
I have seen
for the
a race for Route Master buses. It was at Northampton Stock Car Stadium many years ago.
yeah, no, she was supposed to be in this race called.
It's on YouTube if you want to find it. But anyway, it's time to go 2CV racing. Gary Adnitz in pole position looking for win number 3 for the season. It's a green flag lap, then a standing start, 15-minute race.
Minutes behind from what we were meant to.
As Gary Adnitz explained during his synopsis of 2CV racing, it's really the car and the team that score the points. So if 2 drivers are sharing a car, for example, it was Jennifer Hall racing the 96 car alongside Chris. Yesterday, Jennifer did race 1, Chris is in for race 2, but they will score the same number of points. It's the car effectively that scores the points. There are 4 events for the 2CVs. They've been to Cadwell Park. After this, they go to Silverstone on the national circuit and then on to Croft, I believe, in the northeast. And after that, it's the big weekend for them, the 24-hour race on August Bank Holiday weekend at Snetterton in Norfolk. There's the green and blue Crisis at Tate Rouge car. Leon Davies in the blue and gold car. That's the Team Gadget racing car. One team name I remember that is missing this weekend is Jelly Snake Racing. Jelly snakes, blueberry muffins, pork pies. No wonder I get hungry commentating on these races. There's the number 40, that's the Blueberry Muffins car, driven by Chris Yates. Look closely at that car. You may have seen when we saw it in the paddock, it's got googly eyes on the headlights and they move when the car corners. That's the sort of bluish car with the green wings. Number 13 at the back there, that's Seb Jones-White for Bacon Racing. Yeah, Bacon as well, although spelt slightly differently, B-A-Y-C-O-N. He was a mechanic for that team over the last couple of years and making his debut this season. Simon Turner's got some eyes on his headlights, but his don't move. There's the number 40 with the eyes on the headlamps. Number 30, Luca Proietti, driving the car raced yesterday by his father Sandro. Okay, they're pulling into line on the grid then. If this is anything like the race they had yesterday, which we saw during the lunch break, this is going to be an absolute belter. So the 2 Team Lion cars will start as the favourites, along with Pete Sparrow in 7th on the grid. Normally races for Team Lion, the number 97. He's won several titles in that car. Said he was taking a year out of racing this year, but you cannot keep Pete Sparrow out of a 2CV. In his own car, the grey car, 4th row of the grid. But everybody will do their utmost to provide entertainment. Car 41, the orange car further back, that's Sir Aubrey Brocklebank. Surely the greatest name in UK motorsport. Red lights are on. Revs are up from these 600cc engines, and here we go. Much better start than yesterday for Gary Adnitz in the 97. Transmission let him down as he came off the grid in yesterday's race. Good start by Nick Crispin in the red car down the outside. Not the best of getaways for Chris Hall, but he was pleased just to be up on the front row in the pork pie car. Down into the first corner it is the 97. Not Pete Sparrow this year, it's Gary Adnitz who leads. Nick Crispin on the attack as they come out of the right-hander at Hatchets. Everybody round the first corner okay. Back of the field, the number 13 of Seb Jones-White, one of our newcomers this season. They make their way towards the left-hander at Dibeny, and it's the Team Lion cars first and third. Adnitz leads, David O'Keefe in third, behind Nick Crispin. They start to spread out around the circuit now. The leaders into Senna's, 5 cars line astern. Good start by Pete Sparrow, up into 5th behind Nick Rhodes, and sideways there, the 99 car is going to go off onto the grass. Whoops, that's Max Wyatt, one of the newcomers. 2CV veteran Roy Eastwood raced that car yesterday. Behind them, number 22, Mick Story in the Rosie racing car. I believe Rosie is the name of that car. You kind of think that all these cars have their own pet names, don't you? Those sorts of cars. But up the inside there, Nick Crispin for DD Motorsports has just taken the lead. There's Luca Proietti. Raycon Racing having a few problems with that car in qualifying in the first race yesterday. He's got 76 of Andrew Bull in the Tête Rouge car. Well, one of Tête Rouge's cars. They say, hey, somebody's going grass tracking, and we've got a spinner. Round goes the 33. That's the ECAS 2CV parts car, driven today by Glenn Oswin. He's lost it. Oh dear. So a bit of a change in the order at the front. Nick Crispin's taken the lead, and 97 has been shuffled back into about 4th place there. So it's all change at the front, because Gary Adnitz was shuffled back to 5th place. So we've got a cloud of smoke there. Is that Pete Sparrow? I think that's the 47 car in trouble, yes. So Pete Sparrow goes up in a cloud of smoke. He could be out of the race. Well, normally we see him right at the sharp end, but he's got mechanical problems. He's pulling off. The engine, I think, has let go in the 47 car. Nick Crispin in 89 leads, ahead of David O'Keefe and Nick Rhodes. Enough mechanics. They could put a new engine in Pete Sparrow's car. We'll be back on track in 5 laps. Said he can change an engine in the time it takes to have one sprint race in these cars. There's Luca Proietti chasing down the number 99. He's already had a moment in this race, Max Wyatt. This is going to be pretty close, this race, even closer than yesterday perhaps. There's Mick Story having a go at one of the Hollis family cars. I think that's Matthew in the 72, yes, Hollis Jr. Behind them is Chris Hall, who's dropped back from his front row position in the pork pie. Ahead of them the 81, Simon Turner for Tête Rouge Racing. All sliding a bit wide out of Honda Curve. Down the straight they come towards Hatchett's hairpin. 2 laps completed. It is David O'Keefe who has gone to the front ahead of Nick Crispin. Nick Rhodes in third. Down to 4th is Gary Adnitz. And then we've got number 24, Leon Davies. 5-car breakaway at the front of the field. Mick Story's going well up there in 6th place. He's just taken Simon Turner for 6th position. Through the left at Dibeny out towards the crossing. I suppose you could rename that bit of the circuit the bus stop chicane, couldn't you, with those buses in the background? Over the crossing they go. There's Story ahead of Turner, then Hollis, Hall, and the number 40 of Chris Yates, the Blueberry Muffins car. Matthew Hollis under fire from Hall. There you can see the eyes moving on the front of that number 40 car. That is brilliant. Such characters, not only the drivers, but the cars in this series. Number 80 there, one of our newcomers, Nick Home, going well. Chased by Luca Proietti. Sandro and Luca Proietti used to race in Fiats in years gone by. As did Martin Ryman, who raced the number 41 car yesterday. Now raced by Sir Aubrey Brocklebank. Brilliant name though, it sounds like a character of Tom Sharp novel. There's the number 29, that is Katie Story. Racing one of the family 2CVs. You can see all 3 of the Story family's names on the side of Rosie. Well, I don't know which car is called Rosie. They've got 2 cars out here, Rosie Racing. Here they come. There's Sir Aubrey in the number 41. True eccentric at the wheel of the orange 2CV there, chasing the number 70 of Nigel Hollis. Further back there's Laurence Broadhurst, number 48, based in Cannock in Staffordshire, the SL racing car. Somebody's pulled off there on the inside of the home straight. We've got yellow flags as well coming out towards the crossing. There's a car pulled off. In fact, there's a couple of cars pulled off, I think. We've lost Seb Jones-White. He's the car stopped on the inside by race control. As up the inside goes Matthew Hollis, slides past Simon Turner in the Tower Citroën Specialist sponsored Tête Rouge car. Looking at sideways there, Matthew Hollis in the almost Gulf liveried number 72. Behind them 76. That is the car of Andrew Bull. He's come through well from the back. Side by side with Chris Hall in the number 96. That's Pork Pie Racing. Max Wire up the inside, recovering from running wide earlier on. Big battles all the way down the order. It's still David O'Keefe who's got the lead. Leon Davies has done the fastest lap. He's at the back of this train for the lead in number 24. O'Keefe defending, looking for 2 wins this weekend. Here comes Gary Adnitz on the inside, Nick Rhodes on the outside. Crispin holds second. Nick Crispin in the 89 for DD Motorsports. Nick Rhodes ran a bit wide there through the hairpin in the green car. That's the Crisis at Tête Rouge car. Crisis Motorsport used to be an independent team, now running in conjunction with Tête Rouge Racing, hence the name. Side by side for 4th with Team Gadget Racing. 24 driven by Leon Davies. Mick Story has escaped into 6th place, then it's Matthew Hollis, Simon Turner. Andrew Bull's up to 9th, he's going well. Chris Hall in 10th. Luca Proietti having a quiet race in the number 30 car, and here comes number 40. Watch as he corners. See the eyes move across the headlamps on Chris Yates' car. Max Wire on the grass again. 2CV Rallycross anyone? So number 80 goes by him. That's Nick Home in the ATB car. Experienced Ainsley Bousfield raced that car yesterday. Nick Home, the newcomer, on board today. Simon Turner on the back of Matthew Hollis for this group, battling for 7th place. Big Story's rather on his own. He's 4 seconds off the lead battle. The top 5 are covered by less than a second as they crossed the line last time through. One sideways there goes the number 80. That's caused a bit of a ripple in the pack there. We saw a few cars run wide out of Honda Curve. I think it was the number 80 of Nick Home who got sideways. Matthew Hollis stood ahead of this group in the 72. David O'Keefe leads Nick Crispin. Now here's a car recovering after an earlier spin. That's the ECAS 2CV parts team. They've had a few wins in the 24-hour event in the past, that team. I believe Roy Eastwood used to drive for them at one time. Glenn Oswin on board today. 2 cars out of the race. Seb Jones-White has pulled off, and of course we saw Pete Sparrow go up in smoke. Rare retirement for Pete. Leon Davies, a bit of bodywork loose on the front of his car. He did get a warning for contact in yesterday's race. He hit the back of Nick Crispin coming out of Honda Curve, and Crispin did well to save it from spinning. Leaders along Speedway Straight. It's Team Lion now running 1 and 2. 97 of Gary Adnitz has come through into 2nd place. Rhodes in 5th. Here comes Mick Story. Now he's catching the leaders slightly now. Of course, the 5 at the front battling with each other, losing time to those behind. A multitude of hues of blue in this battle. Nick Home alongside Chris Yates. Loving the odd door on the back of that car. Use parts from any car to keep these cars running. Luca Proietti runs a bit wide there. That's is that Luca? No, it's the 76 of Andrew Bull, sorry, the similarly coloured car. Luca Proietti's further back. Matthew Hollis continues to lead this battle for 7th. Simon Turner in the red 81 car on the inside as 96 Chris Hall runs a bit wide and nearly into the side of Andrew Bull there. Chris Yates takes the opportunity to go around the outside of about 3 cars in one move, which is something you don't very often see on that part of the circuit. Meanwhile, battle is joined for 2nd place as Nick Crispin goes side by side with Gary Adnitz, and that's allowed David O'Keefe to escape a little for the lead. And here comes Leon Davies on the inside. Gary Adnitz caught on the wide line, and the Team Lion car, which won last year's championship in the hands of Pete Sparrow, is going to go down to 4th, because Leon Davies goes through in number 24. Nick Rhodes could get through for 4th as well in the 92, the Crisis car. And Mick Story all the time is inching up on them. He was about 3.5 seconds off last time through. We'll see if he's closed by any stretch here. Adnitz is down to 5th because Nick Rhodes has gone through. Now Nick Rhodes looking to attack Leon Davies for 3rd position in the blue and gold gadget car. Nick Crispin, meanwhile, is getting ready for an attack for the lead. 5 minutes of this race to go. We're at 2/3 distance. This second race of the weekend for the 2CV-Parts.com Classic Citroën 2CV Championship. There is Laurence Broadhurst, fairly new to 2CV racing. George Broadhurst took that car to an excellent 11th place yesterday. There are the leaders, and Nick Crispin has not taken the lead away. It is still David O'Keefe who leads as a car stopped on the exit of Spitfires there. Who's that? It's a blue car, I can tell you that. There's a few blue cars in this race, so we won't hazard a guess yet as to who it was. Has the gap come down further? Yes, Mick Story is close to within 3 seconds, about 3 seconds now of those ahead of him. Here's the group for 6th place. Look at this, headed by Simon Turner. It's anybody's race behind him. Here comes the 76 of Andrew Bull. Now, he started from the back of the grid in the number 76 Tête Rouge with Propolis Property Solutions run car. 99 behind him is Max Wire. Then the Hollis family together now. No, it's not. That's the number 80 car, I apologise, of Nick Home. The car that stopped might be Nigel Hollis, actually. Further round the back of the circuit. We'll wait and see, though. 3 wide into Carter's Cove. Look at that up the inside from Max Wire. He's going well. He's up into, I think that's 6th position now. We'll wait and see as they come through. No, Mick Story's in 6th. It'll be 7th, I think, for Max Wire as they come through. There are the 5 leaders. Nick Crispin still attacking to try and take the lead. Max Wire is up to 7th. He's gained 5 places in 1 lap there. That's sensational. And through up the inside goes Nick Crispin, has just taken the lead. Further back, Nigel Hollis is still going. It's not him that stopped at Spitfires. He's chasing Shirley Hennessy in number 35. The Blueberry Tarts car, known as Rhubarb. You can't make this stuff up, it's brilliant. The car that stopped, I think, looking at the timing screen, is Chris Hall. He stopped for a pork pie. Nick Crispin has an attack into Brooklands there, but he can't get the inside line away from David O'Keefe. David, probably the most experienced driver on the grid. He was in the first ever 2CV race held in the UK at Mallory Park back in the early 1980s. Here's the second group. Simon Turner's got back ahead into 7th place now. Down to 9th is Max Wire. This lot of swapping places for fun. 55 in there, that's Julie Walford. She's going well, started from the back. And here are the leaders. Nick Crispin on the tail of David O'Keefe, but watch for that number 24, the team gadget car of Leon Davies. He's ready to launch an attack here. He might not get the chance because Crispin's moved across to cover the line. O'Keefe now covers into the hairpin. This is terrific. Up to the inside comes Gary Adnitz. Leon Davies launching to the inside. Go, go, Gadget 2CV, he says. He charges up the inside. Can he get the lead? Not quite. He's got 2nd, though, behind David O'Keefe. Crispin down to 3rd. Then Gary Adnitz side by side with Nick Rhodes. What a magnificent race this is. Mustn't forget further back that Glenn Oswin is still going. He's got ahead of Laurence Broadhurst towards the back of the field. And also somewhere ahead of him is the number 41. There he is, Sir Aubrey Brocklebank, chasing down Shirley Hennessy. She's done a bit of racing in a Triumph Dolomite Sprint in classic saloon races. Nigel Hollis in there as well. And I think that's Katie Story in there with side by side now. Gary Adnitz and Nick Crispin. Up the inside into 3rd position. Has Mick Story caught them yet in the number 22? Yes, there he is. He's less than 3 seconds back now. He's not quite caught them yet. David O'Keefe leads by a few lengths ahead of the 24 of Leon Davies, but there's less than a minute on the clock, so they'll be coming in to their last lap this time around. 5 cars, line astern. Nick Crispin bounces off the curb. To the inside goes Gary Adnitz, so does Leon Davies. 1 lap to go at Pembrey. So the classic 2CV Racing Championship, sponsored by 2CVParts.com, and sending it down the outside is Gary Adnitz. That's never going to work. He goes out wide. Nick Crispin retains 2nd. It's 3 wide for 3rd place. Leon Davies could lose out here, and Nick Rhodes moves into a podium position in the 92 car. First 2 have been able to break away as a result of that. Here's a battle further back with Nigel Hollis still on the tail of Shirley Hennessy in the Blueberry Tarts car. Because it is an all-female crew that races that car at the 24 hours. Side by side for fourth now. Leon Davies has gone from second to fourth behind Nick Rhodes and Nick Crispin. But can one of the Nicks nick the victory from David O'Keefe? Gary Adnitz back in fifth. Not been a happy weekend for him. He broke down at the start of yesterday's race with transmission failure. He's only fifth as they run towards the checkered flag here. Are they going to slipstream each other down Speedway Straight? Can Nick Crispin steal the win? Is it going to be a double for David O'Keefe and an unbeaten run for Team Lion so far in this year's 4 races? It's looking likely. They come out of Carter's Curve for the final time. Up towards the right-hander at Honda. Is Nick Crispin going to be in position to make a move on the short blast to the checkered flag? I don't think he's going to do it, and it's going to be a double for the most experienced man in the race. David O'Keefe takes the checkered flag. Second goes to Nick Crispin. Nick Rhodes is third, Leon Davies fourth, Gary Adnitz fifth, and Mick Story takes sixth position and gets the fastest lap as well on the last lap of the race. Here's the battle for seventh. It's going to be headed home. Well done. Andrew Bull from the back of the grid comes in for seventh ahead of eighth place for Julie Walford, also from the back. Then Simon Turner, Chris Yates, Max Wire, and a photo finish between Proietti and Hollis. Luca Proietti just beats Matthew Hollis home. Next over the line is number 80, Nick Home. Then this battle for 15th place. Katie Story catching Shirley Hennessy and Sir Aubrey in number 41. Over the line comes Nigel Hollis, though, ahead of all of them. Good race by Nigel. Sir Aubrey Brocklebank is next. Then it's Shirley Hennessy, Katie Story, and well done Glenn Oswin, who caught them up after spinning earlier on as well. The other finisher is going to be Laurence Broadhurst in the 48 car. Here he comes. One of our newcomers, the SL Racing Team. George was close to the team's first top 10 yesterday. And Laurence will bring in the 48 car based in Cannock in South Staffordshire. Well done, Laurence Broadhurst. Thumbs up as he completes the finishers. Great stuff. Well, that was absolutely wonderful. I'm sure you'll agree. Proof that you don't need an immensely fast car for good motorsport. 2 wins for David O'Keefe. It's 4 out of 4 for Team Lion in 2022. They now move on to Silverstone and to Croft before the big one in August, the 24-hour race. If you can get to Snetterton on August Bank Holiday weekend, do not miss that. It's a great event. Winning margin was 0.141 of a second. The top 4 were covered by less than a second, and Mick Story on the last lap in 6th place got the fastest lap. Well done, Rosie. Fair play to Andrew Bull and Julie Walford as well. They started from the back and came through to finish in 7th and 8th. Number 80 car there, known as Bumble, driven by Nick Home. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if all these cars have their own names. There's Rhubarb, driven by Shirley Hennessy. Let's have a look at the results of that one. The provisional result then, a win for David O'Keefe by 0.14 of a second ahead of Nick Crispin. Nick Rhodes taking 3rd ahead of Leon Davies, and Gary Adnitz rounding out the top 5. Mick Story took 6th position in the fastest lap, only 2 seconds off the race victory after catching the lead battle up. Well done, Andrew Bull 7th and Julie Walford 8th, both from the back of the grid. Simon Turner 9th and Chris Yates completing the top 10. Max Wire 11th ahead of Luca Proietti. A quiet weekend for Bacon Racing. The Hollis family 13th and 15th. Matthew 13th, 2 places ahead of his father Nigel. Nick Home in between the 2 there. And further back we had 16th place for Sir Aubrey Brocklebank. Shirley Hennessy was next ahead of Katie Story and Glenn Oswin, with Laurence Broadhurst completing the 20 finishers. Chris Hall, who started on the front row, sadly dropped out after 7 laps. Pete Sparrow, a rare engine failure for him, and Seb Jones-White sadly dropping out on the first lap. Let's head down to Ewan in the pit area. He's in Parc Fermé with some of the drivers.
Oh my God, that was a race. I mean, Nick was up and then dropped back, and then you had your teammate on your tail, and
Thank you, Dave. We are down here in Parc Fermé. What an absolute joy it is to watch these 2 CVs. We've not had them before, but my goodness, they are here to stay, I would imagine. Let's speak to the 2 Nicks here, who are 2nd and 3rd, 3rd and 4th yesterday, chaps. You promoted yourself both by 1 position. First of all, yourself, Nick, talk us through your race.
Good start. got away well, but I knew that the pack would be hunting me, and as soon as I saw like David behind me, I thought, well, if he gets past me, then it's going to be difficult to get back past him. I did get past him a couple of times, but he just had a little bit more in certain areas, and where I had certain areas covered in speed-wise, Wily Old Fox just sort of dogged it down a bit and kept me so I couldn't go. But I think he needs to go on a diet because his arse is far too big for me to get past. But thoroughly enjoyed that.
I was just about to use the phrase wily old fox.
Yeah.
He's a tricky old bugger, isn't he?
Well, when you get to 87 or whatever, then you deserve that, don't you?
72.
Nick, yourself, talk us through your race.
Yeah,
How'd
well,
they get on?
brilliant to get up from 4th to 3rd today, and it was like a pack of 5 cards, really clean driving. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Fantastic.
Oh, one thing we noticed here, we noticed it in the paddock before the race. It's a family 2CV racing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I did my first race at Pembrey in a 2CV 16 years ago, so it's fantastic to be back. Half the grid's the same people, the other half are younger than me, so we've got lots of young people coming through, and it's as long as you can get in a pack, you enjoy it. Honestly, I could enjoy it just as much in 20th as in top 5. So.
And great crowd today, beautiful weather, Welsh countryside. Does it get any better?
No, it's fantastic. Thanks to the crowd as well.
Fantastic. Let's speak to our winner, double winner in fact. Dave, what are you doing there? Just making some...
putting the tape back on.
Congratulations, first of all, 2 wins.
Thank you very much.
Talk us through that one. Was that a little bit easier? Or I mean, you've got this pack of 5 at the front there, and 2 CVs. We're learning here, but they do seem to run in packs, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's all about slipstreaming and the fact you've got lack of power, so you just need to do whatever you can. And 1 minute you can be first, next minute you can be 5th, and then you've got to work out how you're going to get back through. So that's part of the enjoyment, really, because it's, not being rude, you've got a checkbook and you can buy a bigger car with lots of power and away you go, don't you? But to us, that's not racing. This is racing. So if you finish first, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, if you've been in a pack and you've had a good run, it feels good.
What is the key, though, to your success? Because you're doing something different. Because, again, you're running in packs, as we did yesterday, but you seem to make your way to the front.
It's not always that easy, because, I mean, obviously, you have to do the best you can with an engine, and you have to try and get the best out of the handling. This doesn't handle as well as Gary's car, but obviously he got in the mayhem in the pack, and if you're in the pack, it is difficult to get to the front. It's easy to stay in the pack because you're slipstreaming. Yeah. You'd be amazed the hole in the wall when you're behind 2 cars. You can be on quarter throttle down here. So it makes a massive difference because you're not exactly talking aerodynamics here. Right? But that's part of the enjoyment, is working it out. And it can take you like 3 laps to perhaps get back to where you were, so.
And of all the tracks that you race, how much do you enjoy Pembrey?
Pembrey's marvellous. I mean, it's good. I mean, the layout, look at the people that are here now. It's been a good weekend for us. Obviously, the weather makes it. We all think, we're going to Wales. Here we go. Better take some decent tyres. But, when it's like this, it's absolutely superb. Yeah, I mean, I've done it lots of years here. Some have been ridiculously wet, and some have been like this. So it's good.
We've been spoilt by the weather, and we've been spoilt by you and the 2CV. So thanks very much.
Very kind. Thank you.